All right, let's jump right in. For ages, the consulting world has run on a pretty simple playbook. You get the smartest people, give them exclusive data, and they produce a killer PowerPoint deck. Well, a new alliance between AI giants like OpenAI and the biggest consulting firms is about to flip that entire playbook on its head. Today, we're going to talk about why that slide deck you're probably working on right now might already be a relic. And this really gets to the heart of it. A lot of people in the industry saw these big partnerships with OpenAI and thought, great, a cool new toy for us. But when you look closer, it's something way, way bigger. This isn't just a small step forward, it's a seismic shift, and it's putting the entire traditional way of doing business on blast. So let's start there. Why is this being called a death sentence? I mean, this is a model that has worked brilliantly for decades. What's changed? Well, we're talking about the protective moat, that deep, wide barrier that surrounded the elite firms and how it's basically starting to crumble. You see, for the longest time, the deal was simple. You hired a top firm because they had the smartest people in the room, and those people could get their hands on information that you just couldn't. They were the ones doing the deep dives, crunching the numbers, and building the strategic frameworks. That combo of raw brain power and unique info was their secret sauce. But here is the massive twist. That whole value proposition, it's just not cutting it anymore. The market has completely changed. Clients are smarter, they're facing incredible pressure, and they've got their own capable teams now. They don't want to buy a fancy binder full of advice anymore. They want to buy actual measurable outcomes. And this is where it gets really interesting, because it's a perfect storm. First, you've got AI launching what's being called a dimensional attack. Think about it. Work that used to take a whole team of junior consultants, weeks of number crunching, an AI model can now do like 80% of that in minutes. Second, like we just said, the clients have changed. They want results, not theories. And that leads to the knockout blow, the end of hourly billing. I mean, how can you possibly justify billing for hundreds of human hours when an AI can do the work in the time it takes to grab a coffee? The whole economic engine is just breaking down. So if the value and the money is flowing out of that old model, the big question is, where is it all going? And that brings us to what's being called the great value migration. It's a huge shift in what clients are actually willing to pay top dollar for. Okay, think about the DNA of the consulting industry. For its entire life, it's been defined as an intelligence-intensive field. It was all about the brain power of its people. But that's not the case anymore. And boom, there it is. The entire genetic code of the industry is mutating. It's not just about who you can hire anymore. It's about what technology you can build and deploy. It's becoming capital and technology intensive, which means the firms that can invest heavily in complex AI systems are the ones who are going to win. This table just lays it all out, plain and simple. On the left, you've got everything that's bleeding value, selling PowerPoint reports, billing by the hour, relying on human analysis. And on the right, that's where all the money and value are flooding in. We're talking about delivering actual results through working systems, AI-powered engineering, and getting paid based on the value you create. It is a complete 180. Okay, so when the entire game changes, the rules have to change too, right? And that means there's a totally new way to keep score, a new set of metrics that are going to decide who comes out on top. So what are these new valuation drivers? Well, investors and clients, they're not just looking at your fancy office or your list of Fortune 500 clients anymore. They're asking tougher questions. What's your AI automation rate? How scalable are your solutions? Or are you just doing custom projects every time? And maybe most importantly, are you treating your data and insights like a reusable asset? And this creates a super clear dividing line. The winners are going to be the firms that figure out how to build this consulting plus system plus data feedback loop. They'll take their expertise and turn it into actual products for specific industries. And the losers? Well, they're the ones who are going to keep clinging to the past, the ones who stay reliant on armies of people and keep trying to sell generic advice in a PowerPoint. So that all sounds pretty intense, but it's not all doom and gloom. This analysis also gives us a really clear roadmap for firms that actually want to make the jump and not just survive, but thrive. So let's get into the action plan. It really breaks down into 3 big moves. Step 1, you got to start at home. Arm your own teams with AI tools. Make them ridiculously productive by automating all that grunt work. Step 2, stop reinventing the wheel on every project. Productize what you know. Turn your firm's expertise into scalable solutions. Think software, not just slide decks. And step 3, this is the final evolution. You become a platform provider, someone who can actually deliver and integrate complex systems from start to finish.
And look, let's be real, this is not something you do over a weekend. It's a journey. Year one is all about getting your own house in order, focusing on that internal AI adoption. Year two is when you start building real products out of your expertise. And by year three, the goal is to have evolved into a true platform-based company. It's a marathon, not a sprint.
All right, so as we start to land this plane, what's the one big thing you need to remember from all of this? It's really about redefining what a consulting firm actually sells. It's a shift from just selling knowledge to delivering real capability. This quote right here just nails it. The future isn't about having the smartest person in the room who knows the answer. It's about being the company that can build a system that delivers the answer, again and again, at scale. That's the new gold standard. So the final thought I want to leave you with is this. AI is the tool. It's the powerful catalyst that's forcing this whole conversation. But the technology itself isn't the hardest part. The real gut check question is whether your organization's structure, its culture, its entire way of operating is actually ready for the kind of deep, fundamental change that AI is demanding. That's the question every leader should be losing sleep over right now.